Okay. I don't know if it just started or not. Let me see here. It says waiting for Gordon Tarpley. Now, on OBS Studio, it says you can select the your live casting, which I set up in YouTube ahead of time, and then when I come onto the live stream, I can go through a list. So I can set up 10, live feeds, and then go select which one I want to do, and then start that one. And you can basically hit select and start, or you can select broadcast, and then it kind of like queues you up, and then you can hit start. Sometimes I can hit select and start, it'll just go. And sometimes it doesn't let me, and I do not know what the difference is. And I don't know if it's because I'm trying to do it right before the time that I'm listed on YouTube, or if there's something else. Because I feel like when I do it right at time, it starts. Anyway, it didn't start this time, so I was sitting here talking for a second, and I realized that I hadn't started it. So we're going to see if it's working now. I have an ad playing here, and it looks like I'm live. All right. Protocol Cosplay. Hey, hello. How are you doing? All right, I am, hold on, hooking this thing up. Switch warning. Oh, what do I have here? Oh, yeah, sorry. One of the switches was off. All right. Controller is on. Pachero. I'm back. Now, yesterday, it's so crazy that it was only 2 days ago that I was dust everywhere. It's so crazy. 2 days ago I was on here. It feels like a week has gone by since last time I did a live stream. Pants over to the side over here. My zombie version is down. I was showing my nephew the zombie head, and I had to carry it away. Yesterday was my wife's birthday, so we were out all day doing stuff, and today is just trying to get caught up on things. Working on the droid shorts, and I set up a whole thing. I'm going to do a video on all the different versions of the droid shorts that I've done, and then the upcoming ones, because I've got the foam ones, 3D printable ones, and then the 3D printable two-piece is going to be a thing. And I'm going to make bucks so that I can do vacuum form ones. So I can do my own version of the vacuum formed shorts, which I think are going to be awesome. But anyway, let me, quick question before people start filling in. Do you have 3PO leg files? I want to remake mine, but Jesse's files are too tall to start, so I have to smush them. I actually am going to be doing leg files. I have a very, very loose start on them. Actually, tonight when I finish this, I was going to be working on, I'm going to be doing a full 3PO. I started, oh God, did I freeze? I kind of froze there for a second. I started 3PO files, I don't know, a few years ago. Actually, I was going to do like my 3D printable versions, and then Jesse did his. And since then, I've like scanned most of my parts, the raw parts that are, really, really, really accurate. Like, basically related to Empire Strikes Back parts, New Hope head, and Empire Strikes Back head, and all these pieces. And I have legs scanned. They need a bunch of cleanup, and I got to like get them sorted. But they are on my list to do because I'm going to be doing a leg lamp. So I want to make sure I have one of my legs with my leg lamp that I'm doing. And I'm putting 3D files up for the leg lamp. And they'll be one of the legs. But I want to do both legs. They are, I'm trying to think, they are, I guess the whole thing with any of my files is that they're going to look like original trilogy parts versus like Jesse's, which look really perfected. Jesse's files are very nice, but they are very perfect. Mine are going to have all the weirdness of the original trilogy stuff. And I, like 2 minutes before I got on here, I was just fiddling with a torso, a 3PO torso. Mine just look a bit squashed since this file are for very long legs. I'd have to measure them. I'll have to put them in my compare them to mine, because I kind of glanced at them before, but I haven't like compared them to the ones that I'm working on. I'm very curious to the size. I did think his legs looked a little long. Someone had posted something about a picture of the overall build, and when they had scaled it, it was tall, and I felt like the legs just visually looked a little long, but sometimes it could be camera distortion depending on where you're standing. That's, just me looking at this photo that I had seen. Anyway, I'm gonna set up here. I'll talk while I fly. Hold on a second. Let me make sure I'm plugged in here. And I'm going to go to my scene. Game capture. There it is. I'll fly around and chat. That's another thing too, is with I don't know if you have access to, doing Blender or ZBrush or any of that stuff, but if you took Jesse's files and basically selected, let the knees alone, so the knees are fine, and then squished them a little bit. And me personally, I am a tiny bit tall for 3PO. I'm 5'10". Anthony Daniels was about 5'8" when they made the things. And the overall suit fits me really, really well. But my discrepancy in height is all on my shins. So basically from my knee to my ankle is too long. And everything else on the suit, the thighs, everything fits really nice, except for the lower legs, a little short for me. So I'm doing my own version. I wasn't going to get TK409 legs if I could avoid it. Yeah, they're not accurate. They're the detail's really soft. The knees are completely wrong. Just completely wrong. The sides of them are the little disc on the side is way small, and they're placed weird. They don't actually line up where they're supposed to. If you see the curve, if you're looking at the side of the knee, the way the curve is like this, the disc should made up with that curve perfectly. But instead, his are offset and smaller. It's really weird. And I have a set. I didn't notice all that. I modded the crap out of mine because I just couldn't. Every time I look at it, it bothered me. I just knew it was wrong. So I just fixed them. I had to cut them all up. Devin, hello. What is that crazy face for? Are you crying? I can't tell what that is. I don't have my glasses. All right, let's see here. We're going to go flying around. Just go to... We'll do an apocalypse board. I'm just going to fly and chat. Not even going to try anything hard. I meant to download the update for this program so I could get the tiny whoops. And I forgot to do that. I remembered basically 2 minutes ago. Oh, here we go. Let me make this bigger because it's tiny. All right, full screen. Nope. We'll see how I do here, taking off. I'm just gonna try to fly easy and crash as little as possible. That's kind of my goal today. And as I feel comfortable, I will speed it up. But I already can tell that I'm gonna be crashing a bunch. So yeah, with the 3PO legs, that is high on my list to do. I kind of just have all the suit parts and I want to put them out, and I'll be doing Protocol Droid foam fabricated legs that are going to be based on those files, because I feel like the scale is just a little off on a lot of them. Not bad. Some of them are pretty close. Like Jesse's files are really nice, and I feel like they kind of have a sequel trilogy vibe versus the the original trilogies. They're kind of weird, and I feel like that's going to be the whole thing with my files, is that they're going to be as close to screen accurate as possible from the original trilogy. But wearability wise, in some cases, Jesse stuff might actually be better. There's some things that are they fixed on the sequel trilogy suits, like the legs and so forth, that I think are better designed in the original trilogy, but they look a little clean. And that clean, not shiny clean, but just they don't look handmade. They look like they were made in a computer, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I actually kind of do some trade outs on my parts. My hands on my suit that I've worn for years are my own design, and I kind of based them on the sequel trilogy hands a little bit because they just looked, the wearability seemed better, and they're just custom. They're not quite sequel trilogy, and they're not original trilogy, but they are the ones that I my favorite ones. And I have a set of segmented hands that are based on chopped up Empire Strikes Back hands, and they look great. And they're fine, they wear fine, but the ones that I have, I just like them a little more. They just fit my hands really nice. I might put those files up too, just in case anybody wants them. Again, they're my version. I feel like the head that I do when I put out my 3PO head, it's going to be like that as well. It's going to be, it's going to be my version. It's going to be basically a composite of New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, because I think the New Hope era head is the most pure version, and the mouth is bigger and the lips look cleaner. It's just something about it like feels right to me. But the Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi era, they fixed some of the things with like wearability and just being able to take the thing on and off that I've done by hand to my own helmets, but I'm going to incorporate that into the 3D files. And I think that'll be cool. I think that will be cool. Oh my god. Oh, look at that. Alright. Flying through the gates. Jesse's legs are like 2 to 3 times too long for me, and the details just get squished when I mod them. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing, is like if you can mod them without squishing especially the knees where everything has to be round, and I need to take his and just line them up with my files and just compare. And I'll do that. I'll probably do a video on that just to show people, like, hey, here's what mine look like versus Jesse's. And I've done a couple of videos on Jesse's stuff. He's really good. I don't know. I hope he doesn't take it like in a bad way. It's more like critique than criticism. If that, I mean, I guess they're kind of related, but it's hard to tell some of this stuff without access to the real things. There's just stuff that's very difficult to see, and so any of my notes to his stuff have been based on just having, seen the real things, or my castings that are from real suit parts or whatever. And again, some of that stuff is, the newer version's actually an improvement on the original pieces. So again, it's just more like comes down to preference. Oh my god, oh wow, it didn't crash. Crazy. But yeah, I right off to the right of me now, I have 3PO is all taken apart, and I've got multiple versions of shorts out there. I'm going to do a video tonight, like a regular, not live video, just like a video for YouTube, showing the different versions of the shorts, pluses and minuses, show the 3D ones I'm working on, and I'll probably go over the what I'll be doing with the foam fab shorts. I'm going to do some foam fab other parts as well. Would love to do basically like whole protocol droid suits minus the helmets out of foam. I think I could probably make a really good one, and if I could pull that off, again, I would do it just for the Hollywood Christmas Parade. If I could make a full foam fab 3PO that looks accurate, which I'm pretty sure I can, it would be so fun for the Christmas Parade, because it'd be just so easy to put on, and I could probably walk the whole parade route in that thing and not have to pull off right at the beginning, because currently I'm walking like the first like 2 blocks of it, and then we're done, and then the rest of like the 501st Rebel Legion people do the rest of the parade, and all the droids just go like the red carpet area, which again is fun, but it's kind of sad that we're not doing the whole route. I don't know how it is with R2, like how much juice he has to do the whole thing. Plus, it'd be cool to be able to just walk a little bit faster. I mean, I can walk pretty quick in my 3PO, but I don't like to do it a lot, because I can just hear the suit getting worn out, like hear the knees scraping together and stuff, and like just paint getting stripped off of everything. That is one thing I like on Jesse's files too, is how the knees, it's basically like a fixed pivot, isn't it? Where he's got like a center point that comes down from the thigh onto the lower leg, and it keeps the legs in place a lot better without having to have the like the original suits had like a band essentially from the knee all the way up to the thigh that kept the legs together. And I used to have my legs like that, and I ended up taking that out. One time, I had bungee cords, and one day a bungee cord broke, and I just pulled everything out of the one leg and did this event without the bungee in there, and it worked fine. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm okay without having this, and I ended up just taking them out of the legs. And for the most part, it's totally fine. Every once in a while, I get like, a thing where the knees will jump over the side and kind of get off kilter, and it kind of sucks, but typically like a person can fix it. And I pretty much alleviated that for a long time, and the last couple times I wore it, it's been like more jumpy than normal. I feel like one of my pads that I'd stuck in there fell out or something, so it's not quite lining up like it's supposed to, or I'm just getting fat. I don't know. Jesse is cool with the critique. He wants your input on RA7 files, but he's super humble about his files. Yeah, I want to help him with RA7. I can't really give too much information on that, unfortunately, just because of I'm working with some people that are doing something RA7 related, and I can't give out some of the info. And I really want to I got to keep it sort of close to the chest. It's like I want to help, but I can't say certain things. So I kind of, it's tricky, and that's kind of one of the things I want to do when I do the protocol foam fab files. I could do a foam fab RA7 that honestly, like, put together would be pretty accurate, but with the head, it's interesting. I've got a version of the helmet that I made that is not screen accurate, but it looks really close. Like, nobody would know. I mean, if people can look at the ones that they use on Mandalorian and not notice, then they're never going to notice this, because my symmetrical version is much, much closer to the original New Hope version. But yeah, and I'm like, it gets tricky. I don't want to give out too much information on that, because without me getting into a bind with some NDA stuff, so it makes it tricky. Same with CZ3. I won't be able to put out the CZ3 anything files, head or torso or anything, but I could do a foam fab version. I'll do a foam fab CZ3, and that would be kind of awesome. So, and CZ3 and RA7 would be good candidates for a foam fabricated torso for sure, because the shapes could be made very easily. Yeah, the sound of scraping is terrible. That's the thing, is when the knees bind, and I think I want to make a internal setup, sort of like how Jesse's has it, where there's a part that extends down so the knee is actually on a pivot, but put run a little nylon bushing in between there or something, just so everything is really close. It looks like it's touching, but it's just actually 1.5 millimeter gap between the lower knee and the upper knee, so that we don't get any just scraping paint. Because that sound is just, and sometimes, depending if it's humid or not, sometimes it'll just squeak every step, and that is not real good. Not good. I did a wedding a week ago. I think I talked about this last time, and it rained a whole bunch, and the wedding actual, the ceremony, they put up this big canopy to cover everything, which was really nice, a big clear canopy. I don't know if the place had it on hand or what, but it was on the rooftop of this building in downtown Los Angeles, and this really old 1920s building, and it was freaking cool inside. But the part of the area where the ceremony and reception was covered, and it was great. But where the droids were staging at was not covered, but it was about to rain, so they got this little easy up, one of those 10 foot by 10 foot tents, and it was fine when we were staging. It was drizzly, but we were covered. But by the time the reception was happening, we had already changed out, really like normal clothes. But our stuff, R2 and all my 3PO parts were back in this tent, and the whole area had flooded like bad. When we came back there, like R2 was probably in an inch of water up, you know, on the wheels. We had to carry them out to like try to not get water up into the feet. But yeah, it was, oh shit. It was pretty fun. Ooh, do you think that you could use Creature Cast to bond some fabric to flexible to bond some fabric to flexible resin printing to make it super strong but remain flexible? Asking me to remake my hand plates. I think so. I think that would probably work pretty nice as long as it bonds to the print. But I think it'll be pretty sturdy. I mean, the Creature Cast stuff is awesome, and it's really cheap. You can brush it on, and it is kind of like fickle. Like I did it on what did I put it on? I put it on something that was printed but FDM printed, and it peeled up off of the FDM print. Like it didn't adhere to it very well. Doesn't mean it won't adhere to any, and maybe if like it was sanded and had like a little bit of like a physical kind of bond there instead of just being like a adhesion bond, if that makes sense. Like if there was like some kind of mechanical bond versus just like the adhesive properties of the neoprene, it might work okay. But yeah, it's worth the shot. One thing that I did, actually, it's right outside in the rain. It's raining here right now. I made a goat head for, actually two of the heads. If you look at some of my videos up in my room from a few months back, in the background there's like this mask with these antlers. That was for this production I worked on. And that was just a 3D printed face. And I put latex on the face, but the latex would not stick to the 3D print. So it would look good, but if you just started to peel it, it would just peel right off. And what I had done to get it to stay is I sprayed the 3D print with 3M spray glue, like a Super 77 or something. I think it was Super 77. Or maybe it was Loctite. It was some spray adhesive. And I sprayed it on there, and that stuff sticks really, really well to the 3D print. But I gave just a little light surface that was tacky, and then when I put the latex on the surface, it was bonded really, really good, because the latex bonds to the spray adhesive great, and the spray adhesive bonds to the 3D print. So that could work with, if the Creature Cast doesn't stick to your part, you might try that, and it could be the bonding layer, you know. And yeah, the fabric definitely would help. And I've got oh my god, what kind of fabric is it? I'll try to show it next time. There are these like sheer curtains that we had at my old place, and when we moved I took them because the fabric is very kind of porous, so using like latex or any resin technically would bond to the stuff, and it gives like a good strength layer to basically. And actually there's the kind of brownish colored 3PO shorts that I did that are flexible. That's what I used on the inside to bond everything, and some of it got a little weird in there. I gotta trim it, but I can show you what it looks like. But it works really great with urethanes and stuff. Really adds some tear resistance to the parts, which is very nice. We were talking about that the other day, but you can vacuum form EVA foam, or even like L200, and I think that some vacuum formed foam shorts might be amazing, or hands, or anything, any of the parts. Like if I could make a good mold for even torsos or legs, and in vacuum form them, get all that detail, it'd be really good. But it's a lot of work, and it's pretty specific. Like, do I need to do all that work, or is what I'm doing now gonna work fine? Oh, I crashed. Oh, I crashed. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to set my timer. Hang on a second. I am 7:25, so I'm about 25 minutes into this thing. I'm going to give myself, I'm going to turn this down to 30 minutes. Is that right? What time is it? 25. I'm going to go, I usually give myself an hour and 5, so that means, what is that, 40 minutes? 40 minutes left to start. All right, my timer's going. That way I can stay on task and not get too distracted as I fly around the boards here. And yeah, it's been raining all day, so I've been inside the whole day. Yesterday, went to a show. Went out to eat. It was pretty nice. Went to see Macbeth at the A Noise Within Theater in Pasadena. I really like that theater. I don't know what they have there. Every year we go see Christmas Carol, and this is just like Natalie and I's tradition to go see it. And this year they had a different actor was playing Ebenezer Scrooge, and he's good, but the other guy is really, really good, and we're kind of bummed that he wasn't there. And he's technically still in the show, but his understudy was filling in for him or something, which is sad. Neil, happy Thursday! Happy Thursday! I want to remake my hands, but flexible resins, so they're super smooth, but they won't tear. I think some of the flexible resins that they have, like the printable resins, are pretty damn sturdy. I think that there's I've seen some of them that are like the Tenacious or whatever. The Soriatec Tenacious is pretty sturdy. I don't know if you ever saw somewhere on my YouTube. I made a video where I printed a set of hands it was like a mix with Tenacious and the ABS, and they are like real thin, really thin prints, like a millimeter thick or something, and they are flexible. And I think I show in the video, you could like bounce them off the floor and they won't break. They're really good, and the quality looks fantastic. So, I mean, it's probably worth trying something like that. I thought about doing a whole set of arms out of that stuff on my Phenom, just making a full set of 3PO arms out of the Tenacious blend, just to see. It might be a bad idea, but you never know unless you try. You know what I mean? So I figure, jeez, dude. So Neil, do you work in town today, or did you stay at home all day? Get to see all the rain action everywhere. I kind of made it. These buses always freak me out. Oh my god, almost. So yeah, anyway, I got this whole all these droids set up over there. I've been doing that RX droid and trying to simplify the design. It's so nuts, and I'm doing a slightly simplified design for the RX droid that is still compatible with all the screen use droids, but just way less pieces in mine. And then I'm going to do another version where it's way simplified, because I'm just looking at this thing going, it's not because of my design, because other people put their grubby hands on it and they made it so hard to print. There's so many pieces to clean up and fit together, and I was like, I could make it a quarter the amount of parts and everything would still work just fine. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make everything so you can orient it for printing a lot easier, so it's not as much cleanup. I think that's going to be nice. It's going to use less filament. The head's going to be lighter. The whole damn robot's going to be lighter. It's doesn't need to weigh as much as it does. Can we get through those legs? Oh, I did it. Shot through the legs and crashed immediately. Took the train. I have a river on the road outside of my house because SoCal doesn't understand how to make storm drains. This is true. I have the same thing. We get this, like, right by my house, it floods like crazy right outside. And it luckily hasn't come up into my house yet, but it's come up pretty, like, onto my driveway and stuff, which is kind of freaky. Do you get on at the stop over there off of Sierra Highway and over by Pear Blossom? I've almost taken the train a bunch of times. I feel like I need to get the pass, because the pass is cheap, but the round trip tickets for the Metrolink were like almost as much as just driving into town, and then I got to deal with like getting to and from this train station, which is kind of a pain. The like that stop that's in Burbank is right by freaking Stupid Buddy Studios. It's super, super close. And then Spectrum Ocean is not too much further away. So if I brought my bike, I could hop off the train and be at Spectrum Ocean in probably like 7 minutes, or if not less, you know? Yeah, 25th from Pear Blossom to S, there's one drain and uphill side. Oh my God. I know, this coming from Florida and seeing how California deals with just the roads in general. Like, the roads here are scary when it's wet. They don't drain water properly at all. And you know, Florida rains all the time, so they make the roads so that they clear the water real easy, and all the lines are painted with this really thick paint. So even when it's raining, you can see the lines in the road. But there's times when I'm like on the 5, especially in San Fernando Valley, where you just can't see the freaking lines in the road. It just looks like this reflective lake top or something, you know, surface. It's like the surface of a lake, and it's oh shit, I made it. It's crazy. I mean, the water just sort of sits there, and everybody's hydroplaning and stuff. It's cool. It's definitely a different experience driving here in the rain. In Florida, it's so common that nobody thinks twice about it. Everybody's used to it. Everybody's got all-weather tires and stuff. So it just doesn't feel like such an event. Vincent Grade. Oh, for the roads. Yeah. No, it's definitely a thing here. There's areas where I've driven and I cannot see a goddamn thing. And I'm just like, I guess this is a lane. Everybody's kind of like going. The train takes longer than driving, but I get to ride free. Whoa, I didn't know that. You can ride for free with an EDU email. That's kind of awesome. I don't mind the extra time, especially like in the mornings. I feel like the time it takes to ride the train in is similar to driving in the mornings versus, like, you know, if you went in at 10, it's so much faster to drive. But to go in, if I got to be somewhere at 8, it's like the drive time is awful. I should get an EDU email. I wonder if I can get one from someplace. I mean, there's been quite a few times when I was like, I should take the train, and then I'm like, you know what? I got to go to the station. I got to ride for 2 hours and then get off the train and then get to where I got to go. Again, Spectrum Ocean and Stupid Buddy are really close. Like, if I was working in either of those places, train would be a great option. Some of the other shops, like if it's out in Chatsworth or something, it's not even worth it. May even consider like taking it for downtown and stuff, just to avoid the parking and all that. How is it with like the people on the train? Are there a bunch of weirdos on there, or is it pretty chill? Like people, like workers and stuff. When I lived in North Hollywood, I would take the subway all the time into LA, into downtown. It was pretty much fine, but then when COVID happened, it got really full of tons of homeless people and made it like just scary to ride the train, and did not like that. I don't think I've ridden it for like 5 years now, but we used to take the subway all the time. It's such a cool thing, and especially if we're going downtown from North Hollywood, it would take like less than 20 minutes to get downtown, and you never had to worry about parking. You just pop up and you're there. It was very cool. And then downtown, they started charging parking for the metro station, and I was like, well, if you're going to charge me $3 to park, and then I got to pay $3 something for a round trip on the train, I may as well just drive. I mean, the whole point of the train is to like alleviate some of the traffic on the road, and then you just make it more expensive for people to take the train. It's so dumb. And I would take the red line from like Lancashire and North Hollywood, and I got to where I would just, instead of parking in their lot, I would just park like 2 blocks away and then walk over to the station. But yeah, last couple times I like checked out the train stations, it looks sketchy, man. I did not like it. Yeah, napping on the commute is freaking awesome. You don't want to be sleeping while you're driving. That's that is for sure. Did I tell you the 3PO gig that shoots in Vegas in a volume? I'm so sorry. Oh, that's with what's their names? The sisters, right? They had contacted me about it, and then they would not be clear with me about what they wanted. What are the names? The Hilly sister. What's her names? Hindi Hilly or whatever. They contacted me about that, and then they like wanted me to do it, and then they were like, well, send us all these photos and stuff. And I was like, well, I don't know how you found me, but they were super concerned with accuracy. It's got to be like super accurate, and then this and that. And I was like, well, what is the scene going to be? Because if you're doing something that's like Return of the Jedi, I'm going to make it look Return of the Jedi. And if you need it to be New Hope, I'm going to make it look New Hope. But like, just tell me what it is. And they were being really, really like vague and secretive about what it is. But I was like, I need to know so I can make the suit look the way you want. I was going to, yeah, Hillywood. Yeah. And no, they contacted me, and then, first of all, they said, oh, we like talked to somebody already. And so I was like, back up, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And then they were telling me all about it, trying to sell me on it. And I'm like really easy, and I live close to Vegas. Like I could drive to Vegas to do the thing. And I was like, that sounds awesome. I would love to do it. Told them I would love to do it. Count me in. I want to work with it. And I told them, I'm like, I have all these other droid costumes as well, so that, if you have other scenes and you want some like production value, you want me to bring other stuff, I can have the other droids there as well, so you can shoot other things. Just trying to be accommodating. And then they're like, it's got to be super accurate. And then they're like, what, give us all the versions you have. I'm like, well, I kind of have my version, but I can alter it to look like the other versions. It's not just like I have all the versions of the suit. I would, try to make it look the way you want. And I told them, I'm like, my suit it's the most accurate one I've seen of any of the fan-made suits. It's like cast from original pieces. It's, if you want it accurate, mine is extremely accurate. But I got to do, if you want it specific to a film, I got to know, because it's particularly the belly wires. Like, I would love to make a set of Jedi era belly wires, but there's no reason for me to do it. But if they wanted that, I would have a reason to make them, and I would do it. I wouldn't charge them any extra. I would just do it for me, and then I would have them. But they wouldn't tell me. They wouldn't tell me what the thing was. And it was weird how, I was like, why are you making it so difficult? And then they contacted me like 100 times. I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore if you're not going to tell me what's going on. I don't want to do it. And then they were going to shoot in like in October or something. And my schedule was all up and down. They didn't have the days nailed down. And then they wrote me like, well, we got the schedule moved. And I was like, that's fine. I don't want to do it anymore. I just don't want to. So that's what happened. I was like, if I'm your second choice anyway, and you're not gonna tell me when I'm trying to be like accommodating as can be, then I just don't want to waste my time. I don't have, tons of time for back and forth kind of stuff with those things. And the volume thing sounds cool. I'm really curious as to like what kind of volume it is. And then I was again like trying to be accommodating. Like I do, I did matte painting work. I did VFX. I've done like, digital sets and all this stuff. And I'm like, if you need help with that, not that I even want to do it necessarily. I'm just letting them know, like, this sounds like a fun thing. If you want help. And they were just like weirdly dismissive towards me about the whole thing. I was like, all right, that's fine. I'm like, I can model it in Blender or wherever, and then when you use Unity or Unreal Engine, I don't know what you're using, but I could put it together. I'm not the best at those things, but if I have like a few weeks before you need it, I would be able to put that whole thing together. So whatever. And I've got tons of Star Wars assets, 3D models and stuff already, and a good idea of the aesthetic. So, thought it'd be helpful. Nah. So that was it. And I was like, I don't want to do this. Don't want to do it. But I'm glad they contacted you. It sounds like it'd be fun. Their stuff seems entertaining enough, and they were nice on the, they were nice on the phone. But yeah, the whole like dismissiveness and just the no communication about what they were going to shoot, and then also being obsessive with like the accuracy, like everybody's going to know if it's like not perfect and all this stuff. I was like, okay, well, let me know and I'll make it. Yeah, anyway, that was great. Also the weathering too, like all the weathering on the suits. There's essentially like in the original trilogy, there's 3 different looks for the suits, and then there's like the throne room scene where it's shiny, and then there's the end of Empire when it's shiny, and there's the end of Jedi when it's shiny. But during the films, each one of them has a completely different look, weathering wise. And the New Hope 3PO has totally different legs, so it's it could kind of escape. Uh-oh, my phone is going off. What is that all about? Hang on a second, let me see something. So anyway, I would have been glad to work with them if they were. My phone just made a noise, but I don't know what it was. I didn't get an email and I didn't get a text message. So there's that. But I'm glad they got you to do it. And I told them if they need help finding someone else, like I could find somebody. And I don't know who they contacted first, because they basically made me feel like I was a second choice anyway. So, but then they like wrote me a million times and I'm like, No, I'm glad they may have contacted you first. I legitimately don't know who they contacted initially, but they made it sound like I was like a backup plan. I was like, all right. I'm like, and then that's when I was like, well, if I'm your backup plan, and then they wanted me to send photos. I'm like, you contacted me about this, but you don't already have you haven't seen my suit or anything. You don't know, what the deal is. And that's weird. Anyway, they seem nice. I'm glad they got somebody to do it. Yeah, like from my house to Vegas is probably under 4 hours away. It's probably 3.5 hours to drive it. So I told them, I'm like, I could just drive there and bring all my stuff. And Vegas is pretty fun. How long are you going to be out there for? And do you know when you'll be there? Oh, there it goes again. What the hell? Hold on. Phone is buzzing. No idea. Usually it only makes noises for my my email and my text messages, but it's making a noise like I'm getting an email and or a text message. and I've got neither, so I don't know what it is. They must have contacted Chris. Yeah, they might have. Also, there's a whole bunch of people, because I thought of you and I thought of Dan Heisey. Like, Dan's good, and there's like, for a little while there's probably like 5 or 6 people that I would have recommended, depending, on whoever's available. And it just is, they came down, and I don't care. Like, I'll do it for cheap. Like, I don't need a budget. I think that kind of stuff is fun. So I told them, I was like, look, I was trying to get details too on like what they wanted 3PO to do. Like, what do they need 3PO to do? Because like, I'll do whatever. I'm okay with fan stuff, but I also don't want to do something that's going to get me in trouble with Lucasfilm. And it's kind of that, like, there are things that I'll do, but also things that maybe, I don't know. And they're like, we promise it's not bad. It's not this and that. I'm like, I'm not saying it is. It could be like specific things that you're going to ask me about. And when I'm in a suit and I'm all the way in Vegas, it kind of puts me in an awkward situation if I have to say no. So, I don't want to have to say no beforehand. So can I have an idea? What's the song? What's the script? What's the setting? And then, again, if you want other droids, I got other droid costumes that I can wear. So if you're doing like, Tatooine, you're doing a sandcrawler scene, you need like some of the RA7 and CZ3 and, those kind of things. I got those things here. Ba-ba-ba-ba. I'll be out there from the February 27th to March 3rd. Wow, that's pretty good. That's a pretty long trip. It's going to be parody music video, basically. I saw the other videos that they did. They're like, the production quality is pretty good on most of their stuff. They got like a big following too, so I mean, that's pretty cool. Your phone was given an NDA. It can't tell you why it notified. It probably can't. Sometimes there's like an app that'll get a message or something. You know what? The other night, like randomly in the middle of the night, I have WhatsApp on my phone, which I never had before. I got it in early December when I did my trip to Japan, because the people that were dealing with that event use WhatsApp to communicate with everybody. So I downloaded WhatsApp for that, and like 3 a.m. the other night, I got like some random number added me on WhatsApp. I was like, oh, what's this? And I wonder if the notifications through WhatsApp, because I don't know what the notifications really sound like on that, but that'd be kind of funny. Yeah, 6 days in Vegas is pretty cool. Do you know, they told me they're gonna have access to a volume. I'm curious to like how, like, is it like a full volume like the Star Wars films, or is it one of the partial ones like at like Fonco has like a small one. They've got like an LED wall. It's decent size. Like you could probably put a car in front of it or something and shoot. But it's just like a, I don't know, maybe like 15-foot wide by 10-foot high backdrop, and it works. It totally works, just like the volume. But I don't know if they're getting like a full volume like what they shot Star Wars on, or if it's like a smaller version. Oh my god. But yeah, anyway, it should be fun. Vegas is cool. I don't know if you've ever been out there before, but there's a lot of fun stuff to do, and there's cool spots in the desert. So if you are with your 3PO, I don't know if you have a car or not, but you could drive relatively easily out to like where they shot the scenes for Jabba's palace. Like if you take the 3PO, you could go out to do Jabba's palace, or the Mos Eisley overlook from like, when they go, you never seen a more wretched hive, and they're like up at that big, looking down onto Mos Eisley, like in Death Valley. That's not too far from Vegas. It's a couple hours, but it's not a bad drive. And it's neat to go out to where, like, to walk that road where they film 3PO and R2 going to Jabba's palace is super cool. Do they have an R2 for that thing yet? I uninstalled WhatsApp because I would only get scam messages. See, I've never got any other messages except for the people that I've worked with on that thing. And then, but the other day to get a random ad on there, like not an advertisement, but somebody added me on WhatsApp. I was like, what is this? It's some weird number, like some foreign number. It's like, all right, I don't like that. So, I don't know. I think they dropped their requirements for super accurate 3PO. Mine isn't that accurate. They're under pressure to shoot. Yours looks good though. I mean, your suit looks really nice. That's the thing I try to tell them. Like, I told them that. There's some people out there that have very nice looking suits, and it's like most of the builders, like if you're in the 3PO builder group, most of the builders in there, most of them couldn't spot some of the differences between like a screen use suit and a really good fan made suit. Like a really nicely finished up set of like the Jesse M files looks very good, and I don't think that average Joe is going to pick out any of that stuff. And oh shit, and I try to tell them that. I'm like, if it looks good, it looks good. It's not such a big deal. But if you're going for a scene, if you're gonna do, indoor, or you're gonna do Tatooine or whatever, like, it'd be nice to know for the weathering, so you can get a cool look on the weathering. Make it look correct. Empire Strikes Back, Jedi, you know what I mean? And that's a thing I feel like you could kind of do some of that on set if you needed to. You get there and match it. Oh yeah, but I don't know if I just said that, but do you know who's doing R2 for the thing, or do they have an R2D2 driver? I'm sure they found an R2, and mine isn't done yet, or to offer it. The average person would think the screen used version of props looks too close together to be from a movie. That's the thing, is the screen used ones do not look good. All the fan made suits look better than the screen used suits in person for the most part. The like, even you see the versions that they did for oh my god, not Revenge of the Sith, Revenge of the Sith, the one, the super shiny 3PO from the prequels. It's like the first one where he's really shiny the whole time. That suit, you see it up close, it's like the fan made suits are finished better for the most part, and it just looks really shiny on camera. It's just like the legs and the arms have like orange peel in the paint. It's like, it's not up close, it's like not as good. And the head and the chest, they like really polished the shit out of it before they did the back metallizing, and it's got like a look that reminds me of when I did my first all-clad test before I could new to clear coat things with like 2K clear coat. I would polish it, like really polish it, and I love the way the metal looked on the polish. It was real reflective and really shiny, but if you got real close, there was like a quality to it that looked like polished metal, and like very polished metal. And that's how that suits look from Revenge of the Sith. And it's just on the face and the chest, and then after that, anything out from there is just like orange peel. They didn't take the care to get it super nice. It looks good, shiny and whatever, but it's not. Like, fan-made ones are way nicer. I think when people have the thing in their hand and they're not worried about a deadline, it's very easy to just keep going and keep going. And like my suit, I think after I saw screen use ones, I didn't care as much. I was like, you know what? If it's shiny and gold, and if I take a picture and it looks good, I'm happy with it. It doesn't need to be so perfect. In person, it's funny. Like my 3PO torso right now is actually like the chrome job. The chrome job. That sounds messed up. But the chrome paint that I did on there was messed up. Like I actually messed up the silvering process, and then it just sat there for a long time with no top coat, and I was going to respray it. And one day I was chroming something else and gold, and I had leftover gold tinted clear coat, so I was like, well, I'm just going to spray that torso. Worst case scenario, I just re-silver it when I'm done. I'll just spray this clear coat, and then it looked okay. It had some weird streaks and stuff that could look like weathering, but I was like, I'll just leave it like this for now. But then you take a picture, can't even see it. Just like all the messed up elements, they don't even show up in a photo. In person, you can see them. When I look at it, it used to bother me. Now I'm just like, looks fine. I kind of like, I don't mind. If it was better, I would be happy. But if it's, I realize that it's okay. And then if you just take, look at New Hope, oh my God, there's scenes. So when I saw the New Hope helmets in the archives, I've seen a few of them. In the finish is all crackled and like, looks old and crappy. And I thought that is just aged from sitting in storage for so long and just, just being however old, like getting close to 50 years old now. And then I saw, maybe like 6 months ago, I saw this picture I'd never seen before. I think I saved it, but it's George Lucas talking to Anthony Daniels on the set of New Hope, and Anthony's in the 3PO suit, and it's really close up and it's very clear. And all that crackly paint that I saw in the archives like a few years ago is just like that on set on A New Hope. It's just like the paint is not, it's just cracks in it. It's crazy. And I'm like, it just doesn't show up on camera. And it's not weathering. It's like the paint is just like, it's messed up. And I'm like, okay. I feel less bad. I feel like all of my versions have been better than that. So it's reassuring in a way. Fans are given more than a week to build their version. That is exactly true. And also, your reference photos always look better. They're not even touched up. They just stuff photographs better than it looks. Like Mandalorian suit, like the Mando armor is a really good example. Now, Legacy Effects did a great job on those. They look good. In person, they're very nice. But the reflectiveness of that metal is so not as shiny in person as it looks on camera. It looks way more reflective on camera. And when you see it in person, it's like when I accidentally did basically replicated the finish by accident, trying to do something else. And I was like, oh, this is exactly the Mandalorian armor finish. And I had done all clad on something, and then I sprayed 2K urethane auto clear coat directly on the all clad. And it just killed the reflectivity, but it kind of still looked metallic, but it just killed all the nice reflectivity that I'd put into it. But it looked exactly like the Mando armor looks in person. So I was like, oh, I think with the Mando stuff that was like a Lumiluster, which is essentially works just like all clad. So there goes one of my cats. What are you doing, buddy? Da-da-da. I'm hoping I can get some really good screen grabs and images for my trading card social media. I'm sure you will. That's kind of like the biggest plus about doing that, is that when you get like a nice production like backdrop, and they've got, especially if you have a volume, you get all like the natural reflections from whatever they've got there. And then, being around characters and stuff, those are some of the biggest perks about doing little, fun little indie film things, is if they put you in a cool location or good lighting and the nice cameras, it's very good for, for demo reel or for your photos or any of that stuff. Eddie, hold on. Eddie. Psst, psst. Eddie. What are you doing, bud? Yeah. And one of my cats, he's real shy. He doesn't come in. Like, we have my garage door. The door that goes to my garage has a little cat door in it, and the cats just love to hang out in the garage all day. and then they come in the house. And they can't go outside. They're still indoors, but they just stay in the garage all the time. And this cat doesn't come in that much. He's sweet, but he's kind of skittish. So when he comes inside, I'm all excited. I'm like, hey, buddy. I'm not getting paid for it either. So that's, hey, wow, they're not going to pay you at all, huh? Are they paying for your, are you getting paid? They're not paying for your travel and stuff? I have a Hasbro Mando helmet and sprayed it with Krylon clear coat to make it look more accurate. That's funny. That's what's crazy. Okay, so did you see what Adam Savage did? He did like an auto 2K clear on one of those Mando helmets, and it made it super, super reflective, because I think they're vac metallized, and then what they spray on them dulls it on the surface level and not like on the subsurface level, if that makes sense. Whereas like the Alumiluster all clad kind of finish, and then you spray auto clear coat, it is dulling it in between the layers. Whereas the Hasbro one is like really, really, really reflective, and then the outer spray dulls it on the surface a little tiny bit. But there's this video untested, and Adam Savage sprayed one of the things, and it got so shiny, like so shiny. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Travel expenses are paid. And they kept telling me, oh, we don't have the Hollywood budget. We have this, this budget. And I was like, that's fine. Like, if you cover my days, whatever. Like, they made it sound like they were going to pay me, but they also probably weren't having to cover my travel expenses. But they should. I would imagine they should pay you something if you're there for that many days. They should give you like, I don't know, minimum $200 a day, bare minimum. I would think that would be fair. But I mean, they didn't set a price with me, and I told them, like, obviously they're gonna cover my hotel and gas and stuff, but I could just drive out. I don't have to fly and bring a suit and a box and all that stuff. But also, right outside of Vegas, are you traveling with anybody? Are you coming by yourself? Or are you bringing a Wrangler with you? Like, how are you doing that? Because if you have a Wrangler, there are some very cool spots just outside of, like, again, I don't know if you've been to Vegas before, but if you go to Red Rock Canyon out there, it's maybe like 20 minutes outside of the Strip. It's real pretty. It'd be a great spot to do some droid photo shoots if you want to do something outdoors and you have a day. And in the morning, it gets the light. Light's real pretty out there. Oh, crash. I'm not union. I love the SAG card, but no SAG work out here. Do you know if they were going to do a union shoot? And because, like, my partner's coming to dress me, but I'm flying, so no car. Interesting. So how are they? Is the hotel, I guess, are they putting you up? Like, are they going to drive you around, or you're not going to rent a car to get around Vegas and stuff? Maybe even if you rented one for like a day, it'd probably be worth it just to head out to the desert. Honestly, like, to go to Death Valley, I wanted to go do photos, like take photos of the droids at that Jabba's Palace Road, and it would be a really good excuse to do it if you're out there. Now, the last year and in 2022, I spent a couple days in Death Valley each year doing the Badwater 135 race. And I'll be back again in July to pace another person, but it doesn't go. It starts at Badwater Basin, so it goes past the canyon the R2 canyon where R2 runs into the Jawas, and it goes past the R2 dunes. but it doesn't go to the Jabba's Palace Road, which isn't too far from the start, but it's not on the way. And the race that I do starts in the middle of the night, so it's when I'm at the Jawa Canyon, it's like 1 a.m. or something. It's just like dark. Airbnb for the crew, it seems. Interesting. Yeah, maybe it might be worth it. I don't know what they can do for you, but it would be worth getting a car just for one day and just like find out what day you're the least busy, or if you have a day before or after you start shooting, and go explore some of those places. And you don't have to bring the suit, obviously, but if you bring it, you could probably throw it on and take some cool photos in the desert, which I just think always look good with 3PO. 3PO desert photos are cool. And there goes my alarm. And you don't have to be you don't have to go all the way to Death Valley. There's plenty of desert between Vegas and Death Valley, and just like I said, right outside Vegas, there's some really cool spots that are they look, it's close enough to Death Valley to get kind of that same tonal properties like you would if like on the Tatooine stuff, which I think is nice. Oh my god, what did I just do? Oh my god. Just like mindlessly flying is kind of fun. Yeah, I can't remember what they said. Is this isn't a SAG shoot, right? Because I think they were asking me, and like I try to keep everything SAG if I can, but I've done some non-SAG work if I need to, especially like if it's really slow, and then it's like, well, this is like a non-union shoot. What's funny is like this place contacted me last year about doing a commercial, and it was going to be non-union. They wanted to do a buyout, so I was like, I'm like, I don't even know I don't know how to price that. And so I tried to just figure out, how much would I get for a commercial the same size, so I can like make it fair. And I just threw a number out, and I wasn't even asking for they're like, well, just give us a number for buyout. And I just kind of like estimated one based on like previous things, and they're like, oh my god, that's so much. And I was like, I don't know, I'm just guessing. Like I didn't even consider the buyout thing until you guys said it, and I guess I'm like, I can negotiable. I wasn't even considering this money you're asking me. And then they ended up they filmed somewhere weird, and they shot all the people locally. It was like, I want to say like South America somewhere. It's like pretty far away, but it's a Super Bowl ad. And so when I thought about my buyout for that thing, it was actually pretty cheap for what I would have made had I been in a freaking Super Bowl ad union. I would have made a lot more money. So I was like, okay, I don't feel bad about the price I threw at them, for one. But again, they shot everywhere else. And what's crazy is the costumes they made. One of the costumes was built on my body cast. The shop that built the thing used me, like a casting of me, for the build, and they've posted photos of the costume build. And I'm like, there's me in the costume, it's like actually my 3D printed body that I'd made a while back. I gave it to them. They epoxied it up for something else we were working on, but they ended up using it as one of the forms for these costumes. So that was interesting. And that's why they had recommended me for it, which I super appreciate. But then it was one of these things where the whole production just went somewhere else. They didn't hire any of these LA people to be in it. They just brought the costumes out. So it would have been fun, but again, like I prefer to work union jobs. I don't like to take non-union, but sometimes it's, if the work is thin, you don't have too much choice. I can just be like, no, and then like be struggling with my bills, or I can say, well, I will take this thing and then suck it up. Doesn't count toward my health insurance or anything. I'm not a union. Sorry, me. Not a SAG shoot. Just want to be SAG so I could get in Lucasfilm stuff, but I don't live in the right place. Chuck McGee. Hi, Gordon. Hello. you could probably still get in Lucasfilm stuff without being SAG. I did some ESPN commercials for Lucasfilm with 3PO. They look really great too. Like the quality of them looked awesome, and that was before I was in the union. And I think that was part of the reason they hired me for those, is because at the time I was non-union and it was not a union shoot. But they flew us to Connecticut and shot it in the ESPN like campus, which was pretty cool. And it was like snowing there. It was freaking neat. And we got to be all throughout the ESPN stages and studio, and it was fun. I paid decently, and it was non-union. They do a lot of non-union stuff, and you can get into some, especially event things. You could get in there, with Lucasfilm. It's just, I'll get you the contact for, if you don't have it already, for the character appearance. Alex Vargas, super nice guy, and if there's anything going on in your area and they need characters, he's the guy to talk to. And if you're on his list of people and something comes up, they'll probably reach out to you about it. And your suit looks really good. I feel like you 100% look good enough to do any of those things for sure. That is how the casting director for MASH got his own title card. He didn't know it was going to be a big deal and just said he wanted it. I mean, that's the thing, is like, it's crazy. So much stuff ends up being that way, where you're like, you want to do this thing? Sure. I mean, just about anything I've done that has been cool has started out like that. Like, I just go, yeah, I'll do that, and then it ends up being something more than I expected. Honey, did you get coffee yet?
Yeah, I already had it. I'm gonna get on the Peloton.
Oh, sweet Peloton party.
It's the time for the Peloton.
There's Natalie. She had a birthday yesterday, and now she's older than I am. Ooh.
Yeah, right. It's just barely older and wiser.
Hear that? Older and wiser.
Smarter.
Natalie is like 3 weeks older than me. So now we are in a different age bracket again. We're usually the same age for most of the year, but there's like a month where I'm just like, oh, you're so old. And that's pretty fun. Oh my God. We gotta go through these gates again. Oh, crashed it. Oh, I didn't crash. I'm still not. Oh, there it is. Now I'm crashed. And hop it up. Alright, and so, alright, I should probably get out of here. My timer has gone off. I gotta get finished getting set up for my actual YouTube video I was gonna make. The other day, someone made a comment to me like, "Oh man, I like your content, but I don't want this live thing." I'm like, I just do this because it's like I'm on the computer. I may as well put something on YouTube, because if you guys have followed me for any amount of time, you know that my YouTube channel is like goes in spurts. Like, I'll have maybe like a month, I might make 3 videos in a month, and then I don't do any videos for like 10 months because the way my schedule is hard, or the stuff I can show is like I can't show it for a while, so I just sit on footage forever, hoping one day I'll be able to share something. And typically by the time I can share it, I figured out a better way to do whatever it is I was going to show in the video. So I figure if I go live while I'm just at the computer, then at least I'm like being more active on my YouTube. And that's probably better. I feel like YouTube has sort of promoted that. Like, the more I've done live stuff, I don't think that many people are looking to live videos, but it seems like more people are seeing the shorts. So that's good. I don't know if it's just coincidence or if it's, YouTube just being like, oh, this person's putting in some effort, let's give them a bump. I don't know. But it's good. It's good. Anyway, I'm having fun doing this, but I need to go back and get some stuff done. I might come on later tonight and do some more ZBrush. I am working on 3PO parts and the foam shorts and multiple things. So I want to get my Patreon files online somehow. I gotta like look into how to do that exactly. So I'll probably do a little bit of that tonight, and hopefully by tomorrow I'll have a set of first version 3PO shorts up, 3D printable, and we'll see. There goes Natalie talking to the cats. But anyway, that's that. All right, kids. Thanks for stopping by. And oops, crashing out. I'm gonna stop trying to fly this while I'm crashing here. Exit session. Yes. It's gonna stop. There it goes. All right. All right, kids. Thanks for stopping by. I'll be back probably tomorrow doing some ZBrush stuff, and then tomorrow we're gonna go do some plein air paintings as long as the weather's nice, which I've been wanting to do since we moved to California. So maybe I'll take some videos of time lapse of making paintings in the outdoors. That should be pretty fun. Anyway, thanks for stopping by.